Okay, number 9. Anybody tell me what the amp is? It'll be 4, correct. Justin gave us a beautiful explanation earlier with this one. So do you guys understand why it is 4? Yes? Say something.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. This right here, do you agree that 5 pi is the x value and it's in the middle? Yes? Minimum 0, maximum 0, minimum. So this is right down the middle. I don't need to know my quarter points, but can I use the fact that the middle is 5 pi to find my ending?
Yeah.
What is the ending? All right, so do you have enough now to find your graph, your equation? 2 pi over b equals what? 10 pi. Did anybody solve that already? What does b equal? 1/5? Does anybody need to see the work? Yes? Okay. I am going to cross multiply, so I'm going to put a 1 here. 2 pi times 1 is 2 pi equals 10 pi times b is 10 pi b. And if I'm trying to solve for b, what will I divide both sides by? 10 pi, gone. The pi's are gone, and what does 2 over 10 reduce to? 1/5. Okay, makes sense. Is there any kind of vertical shift or horizontal shift? No, it starts at 0, it goes to the right. The max and the min are equidistant or opposites. All right, so y equals what do I have here? I'm sorry, positive or negative? Negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative. 4 cosine, and b is 1/5 x. And since there's no other shift or no kind of shifting, that is it. We are done. Got it? I'm going to come down here and try, I'm going to do these two, but I'm going to start off with this one because it's easier. Now, I had a kid ask me, how do you know if you're supposed to use tangent or cotangent? Because do you agree tangent and cotangent are just flip-flop from each other, reflective on the x-axis? It tells you. This one back here tells you to use what? Cotangent. So it will tell you on this worksheet.
Will it tell you
On the test, I don't, there's not, yes, I shouldn't say there's not, yes. It will be specific. If not, it'll look like this, where you can tell it's sine or you can tell it's cosine.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Okay, this one is the one we said we're going to do first, yes? All right, can you tell what the amp, even though it's technically not the definition of an amp, what's the amp? 2. Now remember, I told you to memorize one. For me, the one that I memorize is y equals tan of x looks like this, like the regular cubic function, it's increasing. So if this is flip-flopped, would it be tangent or negative tangent? Y equals negative, and what's the amplitude? 2 tan. Now, bx, what is b? Now, very careful. 2 pi over b equals the period length, or pi over b? Pi over b. Equals, now how do I find the period length? Same way? Right minus left, or end minus start. Pi over 2. Take away negative pi over 2. What does that give you? Would it be pi? 2 pi over 2 is pi? All right. So pi over b equals pi, cross multiply, or you can do that one in your head. What must be b so that it equals pi? Pi divided by what is pi? B is 1. So 1x. I don't have to write the 1. Now, and I guess I should have asked this first, what do we remember about tangent? Splits at the origin. Is this split at the origin half on the right, half on the left? So if it's split at the origin, is there any kind of horizontal shift going on? No. Do you see that? There is no horizontal shift because Um,
Because if it was not split in the middle, it could also be
the vertical, I don't think they give you vertical shifts. Oh, no, they do right here. The vertical shifts you assess by your middle point should always be at the on the axis at a 0. So if you look back here, there's the middle point. Do you see how it's not on the axis? So this one has a vertical shift of up what? Up 1? Yes. Alrighty. Any questions here? All right, I'm going to go back to number 10. Now we're still using tangent. Can you look at this? This graph is split, but is it split at the origin? No. So it's still tangent, it's still split, but since it's not split at the origin, is there a horizontal shift? All right. So, oh, and is this positive tangent or negative tangent? Positive? Yep, this one's negative. All right, so y equals, and what's the amp? 1. Y equals 1. Tan. All right, b. 2 pi. 2 pi over b or pi over b? Pi over b equals right minus left. 3 pi over 4 take away negative pi over 4. 3 pi over 4 take away negative pi over 4. What does that give you? Pi. Is this kind of easy like the last one? It is. Pi over what equals pi? B equals 1. So now I don't have to write the 1, but let's pretend it was 2. Would I put it inside the parentheses or outside? Outside. So if it was a 2, I'd do something like this. I do not put it inside. I can, but it requires more work. Okay, so 1, I'll just leave it there for now. Parentheses, x. Anybody can tell which direction it's shifting? Is it shifting to the right or shifting to the left? Pi over 4 to the right. How can you tell that? Tangent, when it's split at the origin, this middle dot right here always goes through what? The origin? So if that middle dot is shifted to the right pi over 4, that means the whole graph got shifted to the right pi over 4. Plus pi over 4 or minus pi over 4? Minus. Always the opposite. Good job, guys. Questions? All right, let's flip over to the back side. What's nice about cotangent, because it does not split, you treat it just like sine and cosine as far as where you start and where you end. The only thing difference is you do pi over b instead of 2 pi over b. Pi over b equals, what's the period length here? 1. 1 minus 0 is 1, yes or no? So pi over b equals 1. Cross multiply or do that in your head. Pi divided by what would be 1? B equals pi. All right. Now, is there a vertical shift? 1/2, negative 1/2. Is there a vertical shift? Nope. Now, is there a horizontal shift? It looks like it, but what do we know about cotangent? How is it different from tangent? It's not it's flipped. Does it split? No. Cotangent, like sine and cosine, start at 0, end at the period length. Period length is period length is 1. Starts at 0, ends at 1. There is no horizontal shift. Tangent or cotangent does not split. Got it? All right, so y equals, is this positive cotangent or negative cotangent? Positive is correct. What's the amp? 1/2. Cotangent, what was b? Pi x. No parentheses for a horizontal shift because cotangent does not split. It starts at 0 and it ends at your period length. Got it? Try the next one and see what you come up with. Yes, cotangent always starts at 0 and ends at your period length unless there's a horizontal shift. Since it started and ended there, there's no horizontal shift. get it? Anybody want to give me an answer to verify if it's right or wrong, or check with your group members first and then you can verify with me? Come on, put your phones away. Check with your group members. You guys ready to verify? Y equals, yes.
2 cotangent x plus 1.
Is that what you guys had?
Yep, I was just
Anyone else have that?
I didn't fill in the X part yet.
Okay, the B part?
Yep.
Okay, so what is the B? So before we look for the B, is it 1? Is it not 1? Does the rest of it make sense? The 2, the plus 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do? Pi over B equals the period length. And what's the period length? Pi take away 0 is pi. So what is B? 1. Do we have to write 1x or can we just write x? You can just x. You could put 1x as well. That's perfectly fine. All right, questions here before we move on. Okay. Let's pick 1 here. And they tell us to use secant here and cosecant here.
About 17.
17. That's the one my last class chose as well. A lot of work. Are we ready? Okay. I'm going to give you a few seconds to process it on your own. Just look, try on your own to find anything. The start, the end, the period, the amp, anything. Positive, is it negative? All right, talk to each other. Talk to each other. Kellen, head up off the desk, please. All right. Anybody? Start anything? Know what to do? Okay, it's positive. Can you see the cosine shape in there that it's positive? Okay. What's the amp? 1? Okay, so we have this. Is there a horizontal shift? Yes, so I'm going to put B here. Parentheses, X. Is it going to be a plus? No, well, let me ask, before we look here, it is shifted to the right or to the left?
Right.
Okay, so this is going to be plus or minus?
B minus.
Minus. And is there a vertical shift here? No, because it goes up 1, down 1? Opposites of each other? All right. Go ahead.
I was just pretty confused as to finding out the shift.
Mm-hmm.
The horizontal.
Okay, good. He said I was confused on how to find out the shift. So let's address that first. I will change the 120 later, but it's easier if you don't right now. But we should know that 120 is 2 pi over 3. Yes or no? So is it safe, don't put it on your paper, is it safe to do this and say I start at 2 pi over 3? Is this 2 pi over 3 represent the start or the asymptote? The asymptote. Okay, so Justin is correct in saying not sure how to find out where it starts or where it's shifting. Any thoughts on how to find it?
You use the two set of values, you add them together, and then you take half of that and then you have value.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. She's saying you take this, you find the midpoint.
Yes.
No, you're on the right track. You are correct. Find the midpoint of what is what she said. 120 plus 300 is what? 210 is the middle? Yes or no? Okay, if 210 is the middle, now I'm going to stop and let you try to figure out your start and your end. Now that she's gotten you as far as this, she said, hey, find the middle by using the midpoint formula, add and cut in half. See if you can find your start and your end. You need your end as well to find your period length later. All right, anybody have it? Start is, end is, start,
No, wait.
okay, more time. What is it?
30.
30 for the start
Yeah.
and the end?
390.
Can you tell us how you found that, Dominic? So you went here to find the distance, the length?
Yeah.
So he said he did 210 minus 120. What did that give you? 90? And so after you found 90, what did you do with the 120?
Minus
90, I'm sorry, 120 minus 90 to get your 30 for your starting, yes?
Yeah.
And then 30 plus 90 is 120. 120 plus 90 is 210. 90 plus 210 is 300. And 300 plus 90 is 390. Do you guys see that? Did anybody else get that on their own? Or close? All right. Now, do you want to put minus 30 here or minus pi over 6? Up to you. No one? No thoughts? All right, pi over 6. Is pi over 6 the same as 30 degrees? All right. What's the last thing we have to find?
B value.
The b value. 2 pi over b or pi over b? 2 pi over b equals the period length. What's 390 take away 30? Ooh, can I work it out like that? Can I work with radians here and degrees here? Convert 360 degrees is the same as what? 2 pi. Which is nice. You are correct. 2 pi divided by what is 2 pi? B is 1. You can leave it like this, or you can write the 1 in. It's not necessary. Secant parentheses x minus pi over 6. Are we good? Yes? All right. And so we got the 360 from 390, take away the 30. And why did we do that? You do that to find your period length. Your right minus left, or your end minus start. 390, take away 30. 360, 360 is the same as 2 pi. We're good? Okay. I'm going to focus on these down here. I'm going to do these two, and then the rest you're doing on your own. All right. But we did a lot together. Do you agree? Okay. Now, this type, when it happens on the test, because the question was asked, will it tell you? It will, except for ones like this. You will just need to, it's one period length. There's no kind of cutting and adding. So this would be what? Sine. This would be cosine. Cosine and sine. All right. So let's work with this one. Positive sine, I'm sorry, positive cosine or negative cosine? Negative? Because it's the cup is down. All right, max is 3, minimum's negative 3. Because they are opposites, is there any vertical shift? No. All right, so y equals positive 3 or negative 3? cosine, I'm going to leave my b here for now. Oh, is there a horizontal shift?
Yeah.
Now I have kids say no because it starts at 0. Does it start at 0?
Ends at
Not
0.
usually.
It
One
ends at
is
0.
minus 0.
Yeah, see, it starts at 0 and goes to the right, not starts at 0 and goes to the left. So the start is not 0. The start is negative 10, and the end is 0. So is there a shift, a horizontal shift? Yes. So x plus 10 or x minus 10? Plus 10. All right, why? Because the start is negative 10, which means I took my whole graph and shifted it to the left 10 units. Opposite, so x plus 10. Do I need to put a plus number or minus number for the vertical shift on the outside? No, because there is none. All right, so what's the only thing left to find?
Figure out the horizontal shift.
We did that already here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The b.
Okay,
Yeah, so 2 pi over b equals the period length. Right minus left, what's 0 minus negative 10?
10.
10. All right, cross multiply. 2 pi equals 10b. Divide by what? 10. B equals, and what does that reduce to? Pi over 5. Definite on the test. Now, make sense? Okay, do you guys want to try this one on your own? See if you can. All right, I'm going to have you do it. Number 23 right now. Try it on your own. Is this sine or cosine? Positive or negative? Vertical shift or no vertical shift?
Vertical shift.
Upward or downward? Horizontal shift?
Yes.
Right or left?
Left.
Did anybody find the vertical shift yet? Can you share that with us? What's the vertical shift?
2.
2? All right, can anybody share how you got that?
I need 6, 6, and 2 and
Add these two and, okay, so 6 plus 2 or 6 plus negative 2? 6 plus negative 2?
6 plus 2.
6 plus 2 is 8,
Divide by 2.
is 4. So 6
4
plus
Yeah, and then
negative 2, like that? Yeah?
yeah.
What's 6 plus negative 2?
I figured it out right that way, but
4 cut in half is 2. Yes? All right. Anybody else get that? From there, could you find your amp?
Yeah.
Or could you find the amp the way we said earlier, the distance between the max and the min, and cut it in half? Your choice. Keep going. Anybody tell me the amp really quick? So negative 4. All right, keep working. And it's 4 because the distance between 2 and 6, or 2 and negative 2, is 4 up and 4 down. It should always be equidistant either way. Anybody done? Okay, so we're just about done wrapping it up. Did you guys talk to your group members yet? Can you share answers, compare, help each other if somebody doesn't have it quite yet, or stuck, or got it wrong?
Oh, I didn't know.
For which piece? The B. Okay. All right. I'm going to put B here because that's a little longer to find. All right. X, my shift is to the left 2 pi, so plus 2 pi or minus 2 pi. Why is it plus?
Because you're going to the left.
It's going to the left. It's always the opposite. All right. And how far up did I shift? Plus 2. These two parts are a little easier than the B. The B does require a little more work, so we do 2 pi over B equals the period length. Now, how do you find the period length? What minus what? The end minus the start. So negative pi over 2. Take away negative 2 pi. I will tell you this right now. Your B should never come out to be negative. If it does, you've done something wrong somewhere. Okay. I'm just going to put that over 1. Negative pi over 2, take away negative 2 pi over 1. Did you guys work it out already? Plus, plus, negative pi over 2 plus, what does that become? 4 pi over 2, yes or no?
Yes.
And what does that become?
3 pi over 2.
So what's the period length?
3 pi over 2.
3 pi over 2. So 2 pi over B equals 3 pi over 2. Wow, does this one have a lot of work?
Yes.
Guess what? It's on the test. All right, cross multiply. 4 pi equals 3 pi B. Your pi's cancel, but you do end up with a fraction. What do we get? 4 over 3. Got it?